guys, and welcome back to another Dragon Ball Legends video. My name is DFree, and for today's video, we're going to talk about the anniversary. So with the 4-year anniversary coming up in about a week, I wanted to kind of take a trip down memory lane and talk about 1 through 3, the patterns that we had for those anniversaries, and then finish this video off with the 4th anniversary, details that we have that are confirmed for the upcoming 4th anniversary, and talk about my final 4-year predictions for the DB Legends anniversary upcoming soon. So if all of that sounds good to you, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you are new to the channel. Today's video like goal is going to be 1,000. Post in the comments down below what you guys are excited for when it comes down to the anniversary, what you want to see, character releases, etc. Zenkai's, I don't know. Let me know what you guys want to see coming up soon. But we're going to talk about all of that, and I hope you guys enjoy. So, by the way, if you finish the video, huge props. Thank you so much, because if you listen at all, by the way, but especially if you finish, because that all goes into the algorithm. Minutes watched helps tremendously. So, starting things off, like I said, we're going to jump down all these anniversaries, so bear with your boy. So the 1-year anniversary, I just want to just say this, because this actually happened for every anniversary and for other events like the end of the year events, Black Friday, whatever. I always kind of do these like a couple of times a year, but I have very fond memories of this anniversary because, for one, it was the 1-year anniversary. They had the Vegas showdown and all that stuff, and it was really cool to see Vegito revealed on the big stage, and he had the ending animation. So it was just, he looks so nice. Like it was so cool how they revealed him, and that was awesome too for me personally, because prior to all of that, I did a video just like this one, because like I said, I always kind of do them. And I said, hey, if you follow the breadcrumbs of releases in the game, XYZ appears to be where we're going. And I said Buhan/Buu Saga based content and Dragon Ball Super Resurrection F type of content. And coincidentally, we wound up getting all of that. I didn't think we'd get all of it, but we got all of it. So really cool to see. We got Buhan and Vegeta as the main 1%, with Vegito on both banners. There was a Goku banner and we had the Vegeta banner. It's really cool too, because we finally saw God Ki start to take its rightful place. Like EX Whis was here. He was extremely good at this time. I remember actually Goresh and I think did a breakdown for all this. Like, this was such an insane amount of characters, because it was like, what, 4 EXs or something? Such an insane amount of characters. We spent like an hour doing a breakdown for this. But yeah, so it's fun times, man, fun times. But God Ki got really good. Buhan was here. Buhan kind of got shafted because Vegito was in every freaking match with purple typing and anti-regen, but God Ki was very powerful. And Frieza was solid too, because he could exist with the anti-Saiyan stuff, and he was just doing a lot of damage. I don't believe there was a part 2. I don't see anything here, so correct me if I'm mistaken, but I don't think there was a part 2. Speaking of part 2, anniversary round 2, year 2, we had GT versus Future. So GT versus Super, GT versus Future. This is a theme that we'll see for 2 years straight, by the way. So there's that. These guys came out, and Vegito Blue is the anniversary headliner. He's on both banners. This actually does change. We still have 2 1% and 1 LF between both banners. This does change following the anniversary here. Leading into the 3rd, they do change this, and that's a big point for the 4th anniversary we'll talk about in a minute. But yeah, these characters came out. This is the infamous don't pause the stream or stop the stream DFree moment. I remember Toshi was like, dude, I saw that. I just started laughing. He told me that. Like, man, if you weren't there for that, I just can't really tell you. Like, basically, they had Vegito at the tail end, and I was like, oh, that's it. And I paused it. And everybody's in the chat talking about unpause. And it was hilarious. I was like, are you kidding me? And I was live with 5'9" and all that stuff. We were going over it. So here's part 2. I believe this was a delay for the Goku Day banner, right? So this one just kind of got pushed, I think, to this time slot, but it wasn't really designed to be part 2, because there's no way in hell they're dropping Super Kaioken and PyCon for part 2. Like, that's, well, to be fair, I'm very hyped about the 3rd year part 2, but it also kind of came out of nowhere with no relation whatsoever. So anyways, like I said, the theme does persist, but the idea changes here. We actually had 1 LF per banner. Now, the thing is, and I think the reason why this happened, I'm pretty sure, is because you could actually, up to this point, choose which banner you wanted to pull on. Like, if you just wanted Vegito and you like didn't care about the GT characters, then this is the banner to pull on, because he'd have good synergy here. You got this awesome color trio. He's really meant to be ran on a future team / Dragon Ball Super God Ki team, or whatever the case is. But he doesn't really mesh with these characters, right? So like, if you wanted to not pull there, you could just kind of say whatever. Now they decided to put the characters on their designated teams. Like, you see like pretty much a full team here. Gogeta and Vegito are still really good at this point. So yeah, here we go with the characters that are available on this banner, and they decided, hey, you can't just say we're gonna you can still decide what you're gonna pull on. Oh my god, how did Ice and Nova end up my god, they are not anniversary worthy at all. Not quality of kits, just characters. Like, oh my god. But to be fair, I guess GT, they were kind of running the barrel dry. But yeah, you could still pick what you wanted, but they decided to separate the characters out a good bit. And the thing is, like, prior to these anniversaries, and this is something we'll talk about a little bit in a minute for the 4-year, is, like I said with the first one, if you follow the breadcrumbs, you could see what's happening. About 2, 3, 4 months out, you start seeing character releases. This year, when we got, like, Jiren, for example, back in, what, February, it was like, oh, yeah, UI is coming for anniversary. Like, it was, like, for sure at that point. I was like, there's no doubt in my mind UI is coming for anniversary. Because you start seeing that pattern, right? You see the Universe Survival Frieza coming out. You see Zenkai start happening. Like, around this time, you start seeing, like, for the 2-year anniversary, like, the Legends Road Trunks gets a Zenkai around that time. You see other future characters start popping out, trickling in. Zenkais weren't bi-weekly back here, I don't believe, so it's not really as big of a factor here, but you could really follow the breadcrumbs and say, okay, we're getting future stuff. And the same thing really happens the next year with GT. GT was so barren and dead in a wasteland, and they said, okay, well, how about we drop like 4 Zenkais right before the anniversary and make GT probably the most premium / expensive team in the game, really, with all those Zenkais, because they weren't free yet. And they dropped this LF character, right? So like they decided to do this, and then moving on right after the anniversary, we actually got a little more GT content. So yeah, they really kind of just start doing that in advance, which is also kind of why it's weird that we got this. But I want to talk about the 4-year anniversary now. So following that exact same theme, it's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly what we're getting for the 4-year, right? Outside of the fact of what's confirmed, it's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly what we're getting. All right, so I know that was kind of long-winded, but thank you so much for following through with me and on sticking through on that. So we have this teaser that came out last night for Tien. Oh my god. Tien, he will be one of the characters coming out, so there's that. Now, there are some unknown variables for this banner. For example, Ultras exist now. Are we going to have a LF on each banner, separate LFs like 3rd year anniversary where they had both different characters? And then we have UI Goku, for example, as an Ultra on both banners. And in that case, there's still going to be 2 other new characters, which would technically be 4 characters new that are just sparking in rarity and up per banner, which they haven't done before, clearly. I don't know what they're going to do. Is it's just going to be an Ultra and no LFs? Like, what's the plan? I really don't know. Or even, what if there is no Ultra at all during this celebration? What if UI is just an LF? And if he's an LF, is there going to be a separate LF per banner? Or is he going to be on both banners like they were doing for the first couple of anniversaries? This one's just a little bit of a who knows, right? But Tien is going to be one of the characters coming out nonetheless. There's probably going to be one more character. If we were to look at Universe Survival, they pretty much have a lot of stuff covered. They have actually picked up some recent powerhouses in Kaioken Goku. Jiren is really good. Golden Frieza is extremely good. Beerus down here is really good too. Kind of a little niche with some of the matchups you would want with him. Not really being super relevant right now, like revive characters other than Frieza. But he's extremely good nonetheless. Beerus is awesome. So like they've picked up some recent stuff that's not power crept and very good. But what I'll say is, for the last character, I would like to see a tag or an assist character. I personally don't really care. Just for the anniversary, but I guess tag obviously would be 10 times better, but it is what it is. And for that idea, since we're getting a Goku, I don't think it would really be a Goku one, which that doesn't mean I don't want to see like Goku and Frieza or Goku and Vegeta, particularly like in these blue forms that they're on. Like that would be awesome as a duo character. Oh my god, Kaioken and Evolution, that would be dope. I would love it. But I don't think they're going to do double Gokus, unfortunately. I think UI Goku coming out kind of confirms that we're not going to see that, just because it would be weird, right? We didn't see that for any other banner, basically. So, did we? No. I'm thinking about Purple Vegeta, who came out 3rd year. Anyways, so yeah, I don't think they're going to do that. So if that's the case, what do we have? There are some other options. Maybe Tien is the duo character, and he's like with somebody on his team. I don't know. Also, they don't have to be Universe 7 specific, but I'll talk about Universe 7 exclusively, which we don't actually even have a tag for that. So maybe during the anniversary, we get a Universe 7 tag. I don't know. But nonetheless, though, what else could we see? If it's not a Goku-based one, that's off the table. Well, maybe Gohan and Piccolo is probably at the top of the list. There are some more niche ones like Master Roshi and Krillin, or Master Roshi and Goku, I guess technically, but you know what I said about Goku stuff. We also can have some fun stuff like Master Roshi and Tien, like I said. But like 17 and 18 and Krillin would be a really niche option that they could technically do, but I don't really know if they're going. It just kind of depends. I think that with Tien coming out, it confirms that they're okay with the anniversary because UI Goku will carry no matter who comes out. And I think I talked about Ice and Nova the real reason why they were okay with putting them on the banner is because they didn't care. They didn't care because Gogeta was going to carry no matter what. It didn't matter who else was there. People were going to pull for Gogeta because he was the most, well, one of the most anticipated characters to that point anymore left in the game that we hadn't actually seen a form for. So it didn't matter, right? And then the same could be said about this banner. Let's take a drop. Who cares? What about a sparking Ribrianne, which I actually think has a decent chance of happening just because she was one of the, Ribrianne is probably the most notable character. Maybe a new Kefla, but like she's probably like the most notable character that doesn't have a decent card. Like 17 and 18 are good. I mean, I guess I could really extend that out. Like to some of these dogs are pretty noticeable or notable, but Ribrianne probably, right? Like also like with Ribrianne, for the record, they could do like Brienne de Chateau, Super Ribrianne. Like there actually is still stuff there. And there's also some fun, more niche stuff like that probably won't happen, like Ani Laza that I kind of want to see. Does Dokkan even have Ani Laza? I don't think so. Anyways. So like that's kind of what I'm thinking though. If I'm thinking that it's a duo or something like that, it's probably going to be Gohan and Piccolo though, because I think it's time for Gohan to get a good character for this grouping. There's the blue Gohan that came out like freaking 2 years ago or whatever. He's not very good. I used him recently. He's not very good. Maybe he gets a Zenkai, but I think that's kind of where we're heading. Again, it doesn't have to be Universe 7. There are some more characters that we haven't seen. Maybe a combination character of like gods and angels and stuff. I don't know. Who knows personally? But my guess would be Gohan and Piccolo get a character to round out the 3 characters for this banner. Now, the real question is what's happening for the second banner for this. And we'll get to maybe a little bit of part 2 because it's kind of weird to talk about. But they were doing all of this content, Android stuff with Android Zenkais, the tag characters, Gamma 1 and 2, which also some of that's movie stuff. They did hybrid stuff with the Trunks Zenkai, the Super Trunks Zenkai, the free-to-play Yellow Trunks coming out. There was the tag Trunks and Gohan. There was Great Saiyaman 1 and 2, which are movies as well, but these characters came out. They've been doing some stuff. I still see those pupils Gohan. I'll never unsee that. So, yeah, they've been doing some stuff here. But the real question is, like, for this part, it's not as clear-cut as you would think because this content probably was, again, more or less tied into Superhero, which would have been out by now. Think about it. The movie would have been out by now, so keep that in mind. But when it comes to actual summons, I'm thinking that this part may have something to do with either like movies or just a powerful opponent general mixture. And the reason I say that is because, for one, movies has a nice backdrop here, and they could still drop movie-based characters even outside of this just to power up the team even further, because realistically they do need some support. But speaking of support, there are a number of teams that would be supported and get better by powerful opponent and movies as well. Like there are some names that I can throw out there between those tags that are very powerful characters that don't have modern versions or have old characters that need Zenkais and stuff like that. But let's go ahead and just name some of them. But like going from there, the real question is like, are we getting new characters for the anniversary? But like a name like Janemba comes to mind. A name like Buhan actually gets talked about a lot recently for some reason, but Buhan comes to mind as a character that I will acknowledge definitely needs a new, better form and could also technically come in as a part 2. But if we're looking at movie content specifically, I can't tell you too many movie things truly tip the scale on an anniversary level. You got to think about it. Unless UI is on both banners, by the way, but you got to think about it. We're in an anniversary period. Now, I talked about how it didn't really matter who came on alongside UI, assuming he's on one banner, because he would carry. But what's going to carry the other banner? You see what I'm saying? Like, what's going to carry the other banner? Like, last year I thought Zamasu was cool, but he didn't compare hype-wise to Gogeta. It just didn't compare. Like, that it is what it is. That's why they put another Vegito on that banner, by the way. And they gave you, like, the blue Gogeta and Vegito to try to even the balance. So it kind of doesn't compare hype-wise. For movies, the only thing that really comes to mind, unless it's superhero content, which I just don't even think that really tips the scale, unless they're telling you who the literal villain is outside of Gamma 1 and 2, probably Broly. And if we're going to get Broly, the funny thing about that is if it's a Broly movie content, they could extend that out to support for hybrids as well going forward. So I kind of want to just throw that out there as an idea, as 2 things I could see happening. But I also don't want to sleep on this other possibility. Now, this is where things get a little wonky, because there is a baseline of history here, and there's not very much baseline of recent track record to show you this is going to happen. What about a third year, part 3, Super versus GT? again, where this time around we get something like a tag Goku and Vegeta SS4. There are other characters that, again, like I was talking about in that grouping of characters that deserve more, like Super Baby. Maybe we get a new Super Baby, things like that. Now, that's where I'm going to end this. That could be part 2, because who knows what's happening for part 2. It doesn't even have to have some sort of relation, clearly, based on... That Gohan came out of nowhere last year. It was like, what? I was hyped, but what? So, I'm going to leave you guys with that, because I really do think that the first part is pretty easy, pretty straightforward. And the downside is, it was probably really straightforward 5 months ago. So it's not a surprise when they show freaking MUI GOKU. But the second part is up in the air, because there really isn't a precedent, unless it is a movie character. There isn't much of a precedent, which I'll say that if it is a movie character, especially if it's like a hybrid, by the way, like a hybrid-based movie, all this stuff also, in hindsight, could double as a backdrop of a baseline that we've been getting content for hybrids in movies, not only for superhero and obviously Gohan's big role in that, but also because Anniversary was going to have some of that same exact content. Who knows, man? Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and wrap there, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. Have an awesome day, and I'll see all of you guys next time.